Do you remember rotary phones and the exact moment the first iPhone changed everything? If you were born between 1976 and 1985, you're part of a microgeneration most people overlook. Not quite Gen X, not quite Millennial, caught in the middle, with a psychology shaped by two completely different worlds. Researchers started calling you Xennials around 2014, a cusp or microgeneration that doesn't fit the broad labels. And today on MindWeft, we're unveiling what that unique timing did to your mind, the hidden layers of adaptation, contradiction, resilience, and quiet unease that still lingers. You grew up in a fully analog world. No internet, no cell phones, no instant answers. Boredom wasn't something to escape, it was just part of life. You sat with it, you entertained yourself, you memorized phone numbers, waited for TV shows without DVR, passed physical notes in class that vanished after being read. If you missed something, it was gone. No rewinds, no screenshots, no digital proof. Psychologically, this built radical self-reliance. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that handles planning, impulse control, and adaptation, was still developing through your teens and into your early 20s. High plasticity meant you learned to tolerate uncertainty, solve problems alone, and develop patience without constant stimulation. You weren't raised with helicopter parenting. Your parents often didn't know where you were for hours, and that was normal. It taught independence, quiet resilience, and the ability to be alone with your thoughts, a skill many younger people now have to intentionally reclaim. Then, right as you entered late teens or early 20s, peak brain plasticity window, the world flipped. Suddenly, cell phones, Friendster, MySpace, Facebook, endless messaging apps. What took Gen X decades to distrust and millennials never knew without, you lived through both in real time. You still remember what it felt like to be genuinely unreachable, to show up and hope friends were there, to trust plans without on my way texts. Yet you adapted to digital life without fear because you were young enough for it to feel natural, but old enough to remember the before. This created a rare bilingualism, analog trust plus digital fluency. You can have face-to-face conversations without checking your phone every 30 seconds, but you're also not intimidated by new software or platforms. Your relationship with privacy is different too. Embarrassing moments from your past faded into memory, no permanent record, no searchable archive. Research on autobiographical memory shows our brains naturally edit, evolve, and reshape stories over time. Without digital documentation, your memories were allowed to breathe, change shape, become stories instead of fixed evidence. That fluidity gave you emotional flexibility, but it also means today's always-on world can feel strangely invasive. You entered the job market right around the 2008 financial crisis, a brutal timing. Significant instability hit exactly when you were supposed to build career foundations and identity. Psychological research on financial trauma shows hardship during early adulthood leaves lasting marks. Heightened caution around money, security, risk, even after recovery. So you carry a quiet undercurrent. What if it falls apart again? Combine that with your upbringing, Gen X-style self-reliance and skepticism, no illusions about the world being fair, and early internet optimism. Technology promised connection and solutions. The result? Independent yet adaptable. Doubtful yet open. Digital but still analog at heart. You feel too young for full Gen X cynicism, too old for millennial digital native ease. You don't fit neatly, and that's not a flaw. It's the defining feature. What makes Xennials psychologically unique isn't superiority, it's lived experience. One massive transition during your formative years taught you how to evolve without erasing who you were. You gained incredible adaptability, tech comfort, and perspective on what was lost, patience, true presence, private pasts, and what was gained, connection, information, possibilities. If you sometimes feel quietly exhausted, slightly out of place, or like you bridge worlds others don't see, that's not broken. That's proof you've navigated change most generations never had to. You're not just a bridge between eras, you're evidence that massive shifts don't have to break the self. If this unveiled something for you, if you recognize yourself in the contradictions, the memories, the quiet resilience, drop a comment. What year were you born? Or what's one memory that feels distinctly Xennial to you? Subscribe for more hidden psychological layers. We're just getting started. Take care of yourself, and remember, seeing the in-between clearly is a strength.